Hi, this is Norman Kochnak yet again for a collaboration between Rev Sports and Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnak. We're here in Coogee, my local haunt, and hello, I've just been bitten by a dog. Okay, okay. So we're actually we're going to start a series of looking at articles in Australian newspapers across the board, from the Daily Telegraph to various other publications, to actually see what is being said about the World Cup during the World Cup. Now, I have here the Daily Telegraph. It's a bit of a glossy edition today. Normally it's not so glossy, but we have articles in there which relate to the cricket. Obviously rugby league's another thing that's happening in Australia as well, but in particular we have an article here today about Warner deserves better. They're saying that Warner deserves better. Well, I'm always a bit concerned about that. Ben Horn has written there, who's a good friend of mine, good old Ben. So Warner deserves better. I think it's around the whole situation about the so-called justice of the decision that Cricket Australia are making on whether or not Dave Warner should be a future captain, and in particular for the ODI format, which I'm sure that he's earmarking for. To me, that's a bit premature. The man's turning 36 at the end of this month. Whether he should be the future captain is an interesting concept. They've obviously announced Pat Cummins as the interim, or let's call him the actual ODI captain, I'm sure leading into next year's World Cup. There's also discussions there about Matthew Wade. He admits to the push wasn't as good. And there's a thing here about Matthew Wade saying that he would have protested about the issue where he actually elbowed the player out of the way, and it was basically left by Josh Butler as a non-event. But, interesting life. Maybe he should have been pulled up. Matthew Wade should have been pulled up. So a lot of discussion around Warner and his future captaincy, and obviously Pat Cummins as the captain interim. And good old George Bailey, the chairman of selectors, has said CA, as in Cricket Australia, needs to make a call now on the captain of the ODI team, hence the likes of Pat Cummins taking the role, even though there's conjecture about whether a Warner should be or not. But the bottom line is it'll be Pat Cummins, both the Test and ODI captain, and currently we have Aaron Finch as the captain of the T20 World Cup, which is well and truly underway. There's not a lot of other discussion at this point in the paper. There's been a lot of discussion about Australia not playing well in the previous matches. In a number of the previous days, discussions have been around Australia stumbling at the death against the likes of India, and also their poor performance against England in the warm-up matches, or the actual international matches they had just recently, where they lost 2 out of the 3. They could have well lost all 3. So that's where the discussion is based on. A lot of negativity about the Australian side at the moment. Not as positive as you would expect. A lot of people don't expect them to do as well as they have in last year's World Cup. A lot of more focus on India, Pakistan, and perhaps even England itself, along with the likes of New Zealand. So India, Pakistan, England and New Zealand have been touted more as potential favourites. Australia are certainly there, but not expected to win by some punters. Interesting to see what happens. Stay tuned for Norman Kochnak on Rev Sports in collaboration with Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnak. So this will be a daily news report. Stay tuned.